What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering In. The uber rich, uber woke leftoids on these college campuses, the ones that their parents are paying $80,000 to $100,000 a year, they are in a full-blown panic now that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are going through everything like a buzzsaw. They are panicked. They are scrubbing their social medias. They are deleting all their emails. Why might they be doing this? Well, the fact of the matter is they have wild, deportable, criminal things written on them, and now they're afraid that they might actually face some consequences for it, and this story is absolutely hilarious. Before I get into it, super quick word from this video sponsor, Aura. It's a service that I use, that I pay for, that I absolutely love. You've probably heard by now that Elon's Doge representatives were granted access to the U.S. Treasury. The type of personal information they have access to now includes social security numbers, bank accounts, home addresses, personal finance data, and more. Whether you think this is a good idea or not, you need to be aware that your personal data is in jeopardy during this transition. I mean, just look back to when like NTS or the background check database place got hacked and all of our social security cards and numbers ended up on the dark web. Things of that nature. Anytime you get, risk involved, I'm sure Elon will be incredibly careful with all this data, but you never know. Sometimes you have a disgruntled ex-employee, data leak, make Elon look bad. This has happened before with Tesla. That's why I'm really happy that I have today's sponsor, Aura. Aura will continuously monitor the dark web and alert you if they find any of your personal information. They're going to let you know fast if anyone tries to use this information to access your credit or your bank account information. Plus, they give you $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst case scenario happen. The Aura app also has a VPN with over 100 virtual locations. Does your current VPN have that? It also has a password manager and all sorts of stuff like that. It's the app I recommend to everybody. Go to aura.com/thequartering to try 14 days for free. And it's really up to us to protect our own data, and Aura is the most powerful tool out there to do it. So get your stuff secured today. Panicked woke college students deleting online info after Trump's promise to deport Terry sympathizers. Worried college students at some universities have begun deleting the names of their pro-Palestine protesters published online in response to Donald Trump pledging to deport Terry sympathizers. Look, obviously he's talking about deporting people who are here on student visas, things of that nature. He's not talking about deporting American citizens. But that said, we have been importing this level of rhetoric for quite some time, escalating, and these people held some poor janitor hostage at Columbia University last year. Did any of them get charged? Nope, not a single one. If they were conservatives, we know they'd already be in prison. These people get infiltrated by outside actors, radicalized. I mean, we just saw that guy in Texas, randomly, driving down the street in New Orleans not that long ago. That guy was an American citizen. In response to the editorial board at The Exponent, an unofficial newspaper serving Purdue University, it announced in an article that it would be removing the images, names, and likenesses of every such student from their website that they published since October 7th. What a coincidental day. It said the move is aimed to protect the identities of pro-Palestine students, adding that it refused to be party to such a blatant violation of the First Amendment rights of potentially hundreds of Purdue students. Well, let me just stop you right there. You're not a citizen here. You don't have, the idea that you would be stomping your feet here about not having your First Amendment rights. Well, become a citizen first, and then you can tell me about your First Amendment rights. I mean, it is absolutely bonkers to me to think that we have these people who are from all these various other countries who, are proud of what happened on October 7th. And they like to couch that in just think about the poor Palestinians. Well, I don't think what's happening to the Palestinian people is good either, obviously. I'm not a proponent of Israel expanding their territory. I'm not a proponent of Israel's influence in the American government. I'm not a proponent. I mean, I am America first, all right? And when you're here on a student visa, you are not an American. You are a foreigner that is allowed to be here for a set period of time to get educated here in the West. By the way, many of those Terry leaders, did you know that a lot of them are educated right here in America or in Europe, Western universities? That's where they get educated. The H-1 visa program brings in a lot of interesting people. But the idea that these students are like, it's like these students that are like, oh, they won't give us any food or water. We just want basic humanitarian aid. To the protesters who have meal plans that can just go into the cafeteria and eat anytime they want. These people are LARPing. Donald Trump is not going to deport American citizens. Where would he deport them to? This is all a part of this weird Reddit logic, this weird Reddit lunacy where I don't care if some rich kid wants to carry around the Palestinian flag and talk about how much better Palestine is than America, even though they'll never go there. They won't go sign up and fight for their military. They won't do anything. But they'll stay here in their, $80,000 to $100,000 a year educations and things of that nature. Here's the editor-in-chief of that magazine. Looks like he's the type of guy that, well, I guess I won't say. The president said he would instruct his Justice Department to aggressively prosecute any kind of threats, arson, vandalism, or any aggression against Jewish Americans. Now, I don't like any laws that protect any particular group. If I don't think Jewish people should have separate, specific First Amendment infringing laws in this country. That's Trump. He loves Israel. You take the good with the bad with him. But, if he's going to enact laws that infringe on First Amendment, I don't have any issue with Jewish people. I have friends who are Jewish. I don't look at Jewish people as a monolith. I don't look at Palestinian people as a monolith. I don't care. I just don't care. My 3D printer is making some weird noises back there. But anyway, so I don't care. So when you tell me, well, I can't criticize Jewish people, I mean, that's crazy. I have a First Amendment right. Now, these foreigners who are here on H-1B visa, I don't want to hear about that. He added, to all the resident aliens who joined the pro-jihadist protests, we put you on notice, we will find you, and we will deport you. That I don't have a problem with. Here's the thing. When you're a resident alien or you're on an H-1, I don't know what the student is, probably H-1S, a student visa, part of that is that you aren't engaging in any lawful activities. That's how you're allowed to stay in the country. When you are breaking into buildings, throwing things at cops, taking janitors hostage, doing all this nonsense, you can just go home. Enjoy going back to Pakistan, buddy. Enjoy going back. You want to protest over in Abu Dhabi. That's fine by me. You and Nirmal can hang out together. I will also quickly cancel student visas of all Terry sympathizers on college campuses, which have been infested with radicalism like I've never seen before. Again, no problem whatsoever with you canceling student visas. But the issue is, what Trump needs to learn here, or what somebody needs to edify him on, is a lot of this radicalized stuff on student campuses isn't actually coming from foreign nations. They're rich, upper-class white kids whose parents are worth 7 to 9 figures. That's who's actually getting radicalized. It's like people want to talk about everybody who, during the Summer of Love was burning down all these inner cities that they supposedly cared about. It wasn't black folks doing it. I mean, they were, but it was a bunch of rich white kids from the suburbs that were coming into the cities, that were getting bussed into the cities, many of which allegedly were paid to be there. Okay? The government last order gives, leaders, the students involved in this kind of demands that made their universities sever financial ties to Israel and that U.S. and its military support for a long time. Now, look, if these guys are American citizens, I've got to remain consistent here. They're allowed to do that. Again, I think Israel has too much influence on my government in America, but I don't have any problem with Jewish people. That'd be a dumb, idiotic, low IQ thing to You show me, a Jewish person that's done something bad. Okay, we can talk about that. But I don't view an entire race of people or group of people as a monolith. That's stupid. That'd be like saying, all white people do this or that, all this or that, The U.S. is pushing Israel and the terrorists to keep their ceasefire in place. But of course, the Harvard educated, here's all these dorks from Harvard. When I went to college, I worked. And then when I wasn't working, I was in class. And when I wasn't in class, I was doing homework. School must be incredibly easy now. School must be much easier now that these kids have all this time to protest. And it's all these rich kids. During the college campus protest, some Republicans wanted to use that order to take away federal funding from universities, which defended the demonstrations as free speech. Again, if they're not breaking the law, you can't do it. If they're occupying and they're refusing to leave, if they're storming buildings, if they're breaking windows, if they're hurting people, it's the same thing with J6. If somebody was in the Capitol and they were breaking stuff or whatever, I was fine with them getting an appropriate sentence, not whatever it is that they got. But what they did to them, the rest of them, there was probably 4 or 5 people that deserved any level of charge that day at all. And, instead it was hundreds. These protesters, the overwhelming majority of them are just dorks, rudderless, woke, rich kids. But there were groups of them that took over buildings at Columbia University and in California, and then at Harvard and at NYU and stuff like that. They should all be in jail. Like, they're not this, they're just young. Bro, they're in their 20s. They're not young kids making mistakes. So scrub away your social media. That's fine. I suspect any of these foreign nationals, I would 100% support Trump looking directly at any of these foreign nationals, pulling their history, and if they've ever posted anything extreme, kicking them out. Consequences are coming. It's not cancel culture, the left always says. It's consequence culture. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.